Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We finally have a teaser for the Star Wars Starfighter movie, Ryan Gosling's new Star Wars film. They're releasing it in May 2027, so it's actually just started production. That's why they released the teaser with the full cast list and some details about what's going on with the movie, where it's set in the timeline, and how this fits with all of Star Wars' new plans to go back into theaters, like shift the franchise to theaters first and then the TV show stuff after the fact. Looks like I finally have an excuse to use my Darksaber replica in a video. I'd use it more often, but it makes a ton of noise and really hard to record videos when you're actually swinging it around. So we'll break it all down, what's going on with this, what's happening in the future, and what's going on with all the TV show stuff on the side. Like, they're not completely ending all the TV shows, but it'll be very, very different in the next several years. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie is still coming out next spring. That'll be like their first big theatrical film since The Rise of Skywalker. This teaser is meant to be of Ryan Gosling with Flynn Gray in their costumes on set, about to roll cameras for a new scene in front of a speeder, like they're filming a chase scene. Cannot tell which planet they're on. It looks like they're in some sort of industrial sector, just driving through a whole bunch of buildings. Him with the special looking jacket, and the fact that the car is meant to look kind of like the Star Wars version of a hot rod, reminds you of Ryan Gosling's Drive movie, like this is Drive in space. This time, though, there are a lot of Mandalorian and Grogu vibes because of the plot that they've described for the movie. It's meant to be set 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker, so we're in the new Jedi Order era, and it follows Ryan Gosling as he protects, some people are saying his nephew, or it could just be a youngling that he encounters, against evil pursuers, one of whom is played by Mia Goth and the other by Matt Smith. There are a lot of deep cuts here with Matt Smith coming back to Star Wars. You remember, he actually was playing what seemed like what was rumored to be a young version of Palpatine, maybe as part of his clones plot during The Rise of Skywalker, before J.J. Abrams came on and completely changed the movie and cranked out a completely different type of film. There are a lot of theories, a lot of apocryphal statements about that. He was sworn to secrecy, but he has been asked about it a lot in interviews since The Rise of Skywalker actually came out. Like, what were you doing in that Star Wars movie? What was going to be happening?
The thing they were thinking of before, eventually the part became, it became obsolete and they didn't need it. And so I never got to be in Star Wars.
My whole conspiracy theory behind that is that he was playing a young clone of Palpatine, like he cloned himself into a much younger body, and that would have been Matt Smith. But we are not going full meme. Palpatine has not returned in this film. Like, he's playing a completely different character now. So, like, he just come back like, oh, we had you on our radar, we had you under contract, it didn't work out, so we're going to bring you back as a completely different character now. They do that all the time at Disney, with Star Wars, with Marvel, with other big properties they have. As part of their big teaser, they released an official statement from Sean Levy. He says, "I feel a profound sense of excitement and honor as we begin production on Star Wars Starfighter. From the day Kathy Kennedy called me up, inviting me to develop an original adventure in this incredible Star Wars galaxy after Deadpool and Wolverine earned over $1 billion. This experience has been a dream come true creatively and personally. Star Wars shaped my sense of what story can do, how characters and cinematic moments can live with us forever. To join this storytelling galaxy with such brilliant collaborators on screen and off is the thrill of a lifetime." Also, if it wasn't clear, Ryan Gosling, one of the reasons why he signed on to this is because he is a lifelong Star Wars fan, in the way they say, like, Leonardo DiCaprio grew up being a huge Star Wars fan. He even showed his Star Wars sheets that he had on his bed as a little kid. I think I had the same sheets when I was also a little kid too. You also probably remember a little while ago, it was announced that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be leaving Star Wars and Lucasfilm in the near-term future, either the end of this year or when they're launching The Mandalorian and Grogu. Not clear exactly on the timing of that, but she is supposed to be leaving, and somebody else will step in dual roles, the way they did with James Gunn and his producing partner Peter Safran at DC, where they split the jobs of like the administrative stuff that happens at Lucasfilm and all the creative stuff. Personally, it sounds like Dave Filoni is going to be taking over the creative side of that, and they'll just hire some business suit to deal with the administrative paperwork side of running Lucasfilm behind the scenes. We will see if Jon Favreau winds up taking a larger creative oversight position at Lucasfilm eventually, too. They pretty much let him do whatever he wants to do now anyway, so he already kind of has all the power that he could possibly have. Sean Levy, the director, confirmed that it's not meant to be Star Wars Episode 10, it's a standalone adventure. They'll probably continue it with its own sequels if it does well enough. That's kind of Star Wars' plan right now with their theatrical slate, is that if anything works out, the new ideas that they're working on, they'll just continue with those good ideas. Makes sense, pretty solid idea. Double down on whatever winds up working.
Found someone you have, I would say.
But looking at the plot and the vibes, it sounds very similar to The Mandalorian and Grogu, with them pairing an adult character tasked with protecting a little kid. Now, they didn't say why Ryan Gosling's character is protecting this little kid, why he has to, and why these evildoers mean to do him evil. My assumption is because they're calling this new part of the timeline after the sequel trilogy, the new Jedi Order era, is that the little kid will be Force sensitive. That would be the big reason to protect him. Charting the larger timeline, remember, by this era, like this many years later, Grogu would be reaching Jedi Master age, around the similar age Yoda was when he first became a Jedi Master. But we probably won't see him in both parts of the timeline at the same time. They'd want to completely trample on any present-day Grogu storylines by showing him in the future, like kind of give away the plot basically. As part of the new teaser for the Star Wars Starfighter movie, they released an updated cast list, and this is Lucasfilm confirming all these cast members. So Ryan Gosling, like I said, leading the movie, he is not meant to be Force sensitive, he's just meant to be a pilot that winds up helping this kid. Not clear exactly what his relationship with the kid is before this, but they confirmed that Amy Adams is playing his mother, the young kid's mother. Matt Smith and Mia Goth are playing villains in the film. They didn't say that they're going to be Empire or who the major villains are going to be during the new Jedi Order. I really hope that they're not just going to go right back to the Empire. Fingers crossed that they have some new evil organization that's different, that rises out of the ashes of the Empire. Please do not call them the new Empire. They also just confirmed that Aaron Pierre has joined the cast. They didn't say if he's playing a hero or a villain, but he's going to be in the upcoming Green Lantern HBO series as Jon Stewart Green Lantern. There's actually a pretty good chance that he winds up being the Green Lantern on James Gunn's new version of the Justice League once that eventually forms with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in several years. But that's several years down the line. So of course it makes sense that he'd be joining other big franchises just because as an actor he's blowing up right now. He's actually pretty fantastic. Then the other actors that they have confirmed are Simon Bird, Jamel Westman, and Daniel Ings. They didn't say if they're going to have any secret cameos or other actors that they add late in the filming process. Like the whole reason for them releasing the teaser now is because they just started rolling cameras. This is a teaser of one of the scenes that they're filming, like a big chase scene with the characters.
I really don't need you to explain the Force to me.
So if it wasn't clear, this isn't meant to be tied to the Rey movie or any of the other new Jedi Order era movies or Simon Kinberg's new trilogy of mainline sequel movies. That's supposed to be episode 10, 11, and 12, whatever the next saga winds up being called. What probably wound up happening is they just told Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy to do whatever they wanted in the Star Wars universe during this part of the timeline, and in success, they would tie it into the new Jedi Order trilogy saga movies. Like, if this kid is Force sensitive, it would make sense that the little kid shows up with the other Jedi characters eventually. This also means that this movie is the next big movie after The Mandalorian and Grogu, so they're just doing one movie per year for right now until they finish some of these other films. Personally, I am totally fine with them doing just one movie per year or one movie every 2 years. Not a big deal. Just make it quality, whatever it takes. What they done with The Mandalorian and Grogu is that movie is basically Jon Favreau's Mandalorian Season 4 scripts reordered into a movie, like he just rejiggered his Season 4 into a movie because he wrote Season 4 before Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Disney, big financial problems, decided to shift the franchise back into a theater first movie franchise and then the TV show stuff after the fact. Kinda wish we were still getting The Mandalorian Season 4, but financially it does make more sense for them to be a theater first franchise because they make way more money on their theatrical films than they do on the Disney Plus stuff. Basically, same thing just happened with Marvel, like they pulled way back on their output in terms of the TV show stuff, and they're focusing more on quality movies, also pulling way back on their output for there. The other big thing they've done is delay Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars about 6 months each, so they're both December movies, 2026 and 2027, so Avengers Doomsday is no longer coming out within weeks of The Mandalorian Grogu, which I think is a smart move for Disney. Like, they're really trying to stack the deck as much as they can for The Mandalorian and Grogu so that all these new theatrical era of Star Wars can do well. That was not the reason for them delaying Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, it just happened to work out in their favor in that way. What's going to happen now with the Mandalorian part of the timeline is that they're doing this Mandalorian Grogu movie. Like I said, I've already done a trailer video for it. They released it at Celebration. It leaked out. I did a video for that. They haven't released it officially yet, so I'll post a link at the end of this. Maybe in the next couple of months, or by the end of the year, hopefully, they'll have released an official trailer. If that winds up doing well, their plan is to just continue with more Mandalorian-era movies, sequels to that, which obviously makes sense. If it does well, just continue doing more of that. My earlier assumption, because they were still planning on doing the Thrawn crossover movie that Dave Filoni is supposed to be directing, is that that would just become one of the sequels that they eventually do. Like, it'll just change into whatever one of the sequels winds up being. Like I said, once they're done with those movies and that part of the timeline, then you'd probably see Grogu showing up in the further future New Jedi Order era movies. Now they gotta do is just announce when they're doing that live-action Cal Kestis TV series or movies. Just feels like an easy slam dunk. They're probably just waiting till after the third game comes out. What's happening with the TV shows is there still will be live-action TV shows, but they haven't announced what they're doing after Ahsoka Season 2, and it does kind of sound like Ahsoka Season 2 will be the final season of Ahsoka, and they'll wrap up all those storylines with the Mortis gods. There's supposed to be way more Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, and Darth Vader. They're supposed to do more live-action Clone Wars flashbacks. Recently, Ewan McGregor also did a Comic-Con panel with Hayden Christensen, implying that he was also coming back for those live-action Clone Wars flashbacks in Ahsoka Season 2, also with the young version of Ahsoka. So whatever your complaints were with the first season, it sounds like Dave Filoni is going all out with Season 2. There was also a trailer that leaked out for that during Celebration. I've already done a much longer video for it, so I'll also link it at the end of this. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below. If there's any other Easter eggs that you spotted in this brand new teaser that I didn't talk about in the video, or any of the other teasers that they have released since Celebration, just write them below in the comments. Everybody click here for my Mandalorian and Grogu trailer video, and click here for my Ahsoka Season 2 trailer. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.